This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 4:27 here on our Monday morning. Thanks for starting your work week with us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We begin with a lot happening today in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. There are so many events taking place, many of them for the Day of Service. This was a bill that was enacted in 1994. Encouraging people to get out and volunteer in their communities, to reduce violence in their communities, and just come together as a whole.
Yeah, a really great opportunity for this, as a lot of you are off work, off school today. So we have more on the RTV6 app of things happening around the city. Plus, if you have kids, there are several places where you can get free admission, maybe for bringing a canned food item. So a lot of great stuff to do today if the kids are off and you're trying to find something to do in this cold weather.
And you're probably going to want to find something indoors that will keep them warm all day long. Meteorologist Todd Clausen is here. Todd, we've got some cold temps ahead of us.
Yeah, you know, this is the coldest, though, it's going to be in the morning all week long.
Oh,
so that's the good news. Yesterday, only 21 degrees, and that was right at midnight. Most of the day was in the teens, and then we dealt with those snow showers off and on. Didn't really accumulate with the ground so cold. You could see it blowing across the roadways in spots this morning. There could be a few flakes out there, but nothing that's going to cause any issues. By far, our bigger concern, the temperatures, 10 right now in Logansport, 15 in Bloomington, as well as Indy, 11 in Kokomo. Wind chills are in the single digits. We'll get into the upper 20s later on this afternoon with partly sunny skies, but it will stay below freezing throughout the entire day today. But as I mentioned, there is a warming trend heading our way. So today's the coldest day of the week. By the end of the week, we're back up into the 40s, which is going to feel pretty good compared to where we're at right now, and that will put us back above normal. So just kind of get through today, and then better days are ahead.
Okay, good to know. And somewhere you might be headed this week, Devour Indy.
Yes, this is one of my favorite times of the year. Todd's all about that. Checking out some maybe new restaurants you haven't tried around central Indiana at a discounted price, or maybe there's some places that you think are a little pricey for your normal budget, and this is your opportunity to be able to go there and try a number of special courses that they have on the Devour menu.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of a preview of what restaurants are offering. Oh, that looks all so good.
It's making me hungry.
The rest of this week.
Another story we're following for you is a follow-up to an apartment complex. We've been monitoring this story, and it's been flooding. They've been having a number of issues. You can see some photos there and video there of the flooding in the hallways. Alyssa Donovan is breaking down how we're working to get this problem fixed for these tenants. We'll have that story, plus news, weather, and traffic coming up here on your Monday morning.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30 on Good Morning Indiana, a violent weekend in Indianapolis. Metro Police investigating multiple shootings across the city, including one involving a teen.
No matter what country you were born in, we shouldn't treat children like this.
A new art exhibit in Goshen is hoping to bring awareness to issues immigrants face at the southern border.
And today is a day of service, not a day off. We're working for you this morning with how you can participate in the 25th Annual Day of Service, honoring the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But first, it is 4:30. We want to welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Meteorologist Todd Clausen here. And Todd, it is a cold one out there. I bet a lot of parents are thankful that they might not have to be out at the bus stop this morning because many schools are off today. But unfortunately, that's not the case for everyone.
Yeah, if you have to venture out, whether it is to school or just to work, your temperatures are in the teens this morning, no matter where you are. So definitely find the heavier coat. I had the hat and gloves on my way into work this morning, and had the heat in the seat going as well. 15 degrees, that is the current temperature in Indy. And you look at other temperatures in and around the metro area, everybody's within a couple degrees of each other this morning. 12 in Zionsville, 15 in Martinsville, as well as Greenfield. You factor in the wind, which isn't super strong this morning, but it is enough to factor in wind chill values that are in the single digits in Bloomington, Indy, Peru, Muncie, Terre Haute. So you definitely need to take precaution, try to limit your time outside this morning with these cold temperatures that are in place. Now, as far as the snow goes, it was kind of a little festive snow yesterday afternoon with the snow showers coming through. Basically, it would hit the ground and then would just blow to the side of the road. So it didn't really create too many issues. And you can see that there's still a few snow showers out out there this morning. But overall, we're going to be dealing with partly cloudy skies today. And the big weather headline, so to speak, is just the cold temperatures that are in place. Should be up to about 25 degrees by the noon hour, on the way up to a high of 29 later on this afternoon with the mixture of sun and clouds. The time now is 4:32. Let's get a first look at traffic on this Monday morning with Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Pretty quiet out there this morning. This is a look on the south side, I-65 and I-465. And you mentioned this earlier. We do have that little drifting snow, just some flakes there on the road. So just be cautious of that. Didn't seem to slicken things up too much, though, this morning. So that is good news. But you can see it there in the shoulders. That's the white on your screen. Let's take a look right now up on the north side, I-465. This is a view near the White River. You can see traffic is moving along just fine, both eastbound and westbound. Should be a pretty quiet commute since it is a holiday. But of course, we'll keep an eye on any crashes or delays. Well, today marks the 25th anniversary of the Day of Service, honoring civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Congress passed the King Holiday and Service Act in 1994, marking it as a national day of service. It is the only federal holiday that encourages Americans to work together to improve their communities through acts of service, anti-violence campaigns, and important community discussions. You can get involved today by finding somewhere to volunteer. We have a list of service events on the RTV6 app. In addition to volunteering, several organizations across the city are offering special programming in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Children's Museum of Indianapolis is offering free admission. There will be special performances and activities honoring Dr. King's life and the impact of the civil rights movement. The museum will be open from 10 this morning until 5 tonight. The Indianapolis Zoo also offering free admission today for anyone who brings a non-perishable food item. That food will go to Gleaner's Food Bank. The zoo will be open from 9 a.m. until 4 in the afternoon. We've got a complete list of events going on across central Indiana today. All that information is up right now at theindychannel.com and on the RTV6 app.
In other news this morning, Metro Police are investigating multiple weekend shootings. First, 2 people were injured in 2 separate shootings early Sunday morning. Officers were called out to the 500 block of North Gladstone Avenue near East Michigan Street and North Sherman Drive on the east side around 1:15. When officers arrived, they found a person suffering from an apparent gunshot wound who was awake and breathing. And then around 2:30 a.m., IMPD found a person shot near West 16th Street and North Tibbs Avenue on the west side. That victim is stable. That's according to police. Again, these are 2 separate and unrelated shootings. Also over on the west side, police say a teen was injured in a shooting on a home on Ashway Drive near 38th Street and High School Road. This all happened just before 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon. The teen was taken to the hospital. We are told he's in good condition. And finally, last night, Metro Police say officers found a person shot in the 4800 block of West Beecher Street that's near Interstate 70 and South Lyndhurst Drive. The victim in that case was taken to the hospital in serious condition. As always, if you have any information that might help police solve any of these cases, please call Crime Stoppers. That number is 317-262-TIPS. Again, your call is anonymous and you could be eligible for a cash reward.
Turning to Marshall County, a woman is in jail this morning accused of killing her baby. According to court documents, 36-year-old Ashley Rands of Plymouth called first responders saying she rolled over onto her baby while sleeping. But an autopsy showed the baby died of acute methamphetamine intoxication. Rands initially reported only using marijuana but admitted to being on meth after the autopsy results came out. She's now charged with neglect of a dependent resulting in death. She faces between 20 and 40 years in prison if convicted.
An art exhibit in Goshen is aiming to bring awareness to the difficulties faced by asylum seekers at the U.S.-Mexico border. The No More Kids in Cages exhibit opened on Saturday at the Goshen Art House. It includes 75 paintings from Virginia-based artist Amanda, many of them next to impactful quotes from children, shedding light on real stories of families broken apart.
You should be able to read the quotes about, a lot of the kids talk about being hungry all the time.
This needs to be a discussion. People need to have this in the forefront of their thoughts because nothing's going to change unless we can talk about it. And this was a wonderful way to start that discussion.
The pieces are inspired by Project Amplify, a national campaign to establish legal protections for children in government care. The exhibit will be on display until March 31st.
Covering the State House this morning, Indiana lawmakers are out of session today, but we are keeping track of some of the proposed laws that are being discussed this week and could impact your life. First, a bill filed in the Indiana House of Representatives would get rid of the so-called pink tax. It's a term for the sales tax applied to feminine hygiene products like pads and tampons. Access to those products is an issue we've shared with you several times over the last few months. Local groups are working to make sure young women and girls have the feminine hygiene products they need, but advocates say things need to go a step further, removing unnecessary barriers to medically necessary products. Another bill would get rid of the sales tax on diapers. Another bill being closely watched, one that would allow the state to provide driving cards and learner's permits to Indiana residents who live in the country illegally. Right now, you need proof of legal status to get an Indiana driver's license. Supporters say driving cards would make the roads safer for all Hoosiers. And for the third year in a row, a representative from Goshen has introduced a bill that would ban abortion in Indiana. Abortion is legal at the federal level, but House Bill 1089 would make it illegal here. It also includes a change in the definition of being a definition of a human being, so that under state law, life begins at conception rather than birth. You can keep track of all these bills and others on the RTV6 app.
It's 4:38. State lawmakers are considering a bill that would give up the state's ownership to large areas of Indiana's Lake Michigan shoreline. Representative Doug Miller sponsored legislation that would give ownership of some of that lakeshore land to adjacent private property owners if their deeds indicate that the land extends to Lake Michigan. If passed, that means the public wouldn't be able to use that part of the shoreline for recreational purposes. The Indiana House Committee on Judiciary heard the testimony last week from residents, interest groups, and legislators on this proposal. The committee will discuss it again on January 27th.
The Indiana Pacers are in the middle of a 5-game road trip, and they were looking to keep their momentum going last night in Denver. The Pacers now the winners of 5 straight games, beating the Denver Nuggets 115 to 107. Doug McDermott led Indiana with 24 points off the bench. Domantas Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon, and TJ Warren all scoring 22 points. Sabonis also had 15 rebounds and 10 assists to notch a triple-double to help the Pacers to victory. Next up, Indiana heads to Salt Lake City to play the Utah Jazz tonight.
And if you're looking for something to do with the kids today, the Harlem Globetrotters are back in town. The Globetrotters made a trip to Bankers Life Fieldhouse every Martin Luther King Jr. Day weekend. The first game was last night, and of course they beat the Washington Generals. The Harlem Globetrotters are back in action at Bankers Life Fieldhouse today at 2 p.m.
An unprecedented tragedy. 2 Hawaiian police officers shot and killed while responding to an incident on Sunday. That suspect is still on the run. Straight ahead, the latest on the investigation, including what police say led up to the shooting.
And President Trump has assembled a team of high-profile lawyers to represent him ahead of the impeachment trial. Coming up, we'll tell you who's on the team and how Washington is preparing for a historic week. Todd.
All about the cold temperatures once again this morning as you walk out the door. Most of us are in the teens, a few of you even a little bit colder than that. You factor in the wind and it feels like it's in the single digits. So take the appropriate precautions, bundle up. We'll talk about the rest of the today and the rest of the work week ahead coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 4:40. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Chase, make more of what's yours.
Tragedy in Hawaii this morning following the shooting deaths of 2 police officers. This incident unfolding early Sunday morning in Honolulu, and now 24 hours later, the search for the suspect continues. Authorities say the officers were responding to a call from a woman who had been stabbed. Shortly after they arrived, shots were fired and the officers were struck. Police identified the suspect as Jerry Hanel. Authorities say that he set fire to the house and then the flames started spreading to nearby homes. Now Hanel and 2 unidentified females are unaccounted for. There's no word on where they might be, but authorities say they will continue searching until Hanel is brought to justice.
President Trump's impeachment trial is set to begin in the Senate tomorrow. He's assembled a team of lawyers, including Ken Starr, the lawyer best known for heading an investigation of members of the Clinton administration during his impeachment. The team has filed its first formal response ahead of tomorrow's trial, calling the House impeachment effort a poisonous partisanship and a lawless process. this. Still up in the air, the issue of witnesses. Senate Republicans say they're planning to postpone addressing the issue until after House managers present their case and the president responds. The trial is expected to start Tuesday afternoon at 1 o'clock.
In Iran, officials are backtracking now, saying authorities there will examine the black boxes of the Ukrainian Airlines flight that was shot down earlier this month. The Boeing 737 went down hours after Iran carried out a missile attack on the Iraqi base housing U.S. troops. All 176 people on the flight were killed. Saturday, the Iranian government said that it would send the flight recorders to Ukraine, where investigators from France, Canada, and the United States would assist in that inspection. But on Sunday, Iranian officials said that they will investigate the black boxes themselves and send them off if needed.
Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Delta is facing some serious backlash after one of their flights dumped jet fuel over several schools. Dozens of kids and teachers were doused with the liquid, several being sent to the hospital. Now a lawsuit has been filed against the airline, claiming the pilot made, quote, the conscious decision to dump massive amounts of toxic jet fuel onto the victims, end quote. Delta says the fuel dump was normal procedure required to reach a safe landing weight. The FAA is still investigating.
Prince Harry has broken his silence regarding his split from Buckingham Palace. Speaking publicly for the first time last night, Harry expressed, quote, great sadness over the Queen's decision to strip him and his wife Meghan Markle of their royal titles. Earlier this month, the couple announced plans to step back from their roles as senior members of the royal family, splitting their time between North America and England. The couple said they hope to become financially independent while still supporting the Queen. But Saturday, the palace announced that the couple would no longer use their Royal Highness titles and no longer represent the Queen.
Our hope was to continue serving the Queen, the Commonwealth and my military associations, but without public funding. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible. I will always have the utmost respect for my grandmother, my Commander-in-Chief, and I am incredibly grateful to her and the rest of my family for the support they have shown Meghan and I over the last few months.
Harry and Meghan will still be the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They also agreed to repay the millions they were given to renovate their home in Windsor. Despite the split, the Queen says the couple and their son Archie will always be much-loved members of the royal family. At 4:46, we want to check in with Todd on this chilly Monday.
It is frigid out there. In fact, it's one of the coldest mornings we've seen in quite a while here across central Indiana. After the start of January was so above normal, we've now transitioned to some subnormal temperatures here across the area. 15 degrees, that's the current temperature right now. The wind is out of the west-northwest at 8 miles per hour. So there is a little bit of a breeze out there, and that's making that 15 feel even colder. But thankfully, we don't have those big gusty winds like we had on Saturday when the front came through. 15 in Bloomington and Martinsville, 11 in Lafayette, Peru, as well as Tipton. 12 is the current temperature as you make your way over into the Richmond area, with wind chill values that are in the single digits in most locations. And I assume it's probably in the single digits in Lafayette as well. That's just the same temperature, so their wind chill reading probably hasn't just kicked in yet. 5 is what it feels like in Monroe County. 3 in Peru. Is Muncie, you feel like you're at 3 degrees as well. So throughout the day today, we will start to see our temperatures moderate. Yesterday, a high of 21. That was just after midnight. And then the temperatures throughout the afternoon hours were in the teens. Well, today we'll be in the teens through about 9 a.m. But with some sunshine, we'll see our temperatures start to moderate. By the time we get to 11 o'clock, we're looking at 22 degrees, 24 degrees by the noon hour, 28 by 2 p.m. And then high temperatures today will hold pretty steady, right around 28 to 29 degrees. So we likely fail to get above freezing once again this afternoon, but at least we get the sunshine back. Yesterday we had the clouds and we had those snow showers off and on. And don't be shocked this morning. Maybe if you see a flake or two across the area, but nothing of any significance snow-wise in the forecast for the day today. Now this evening you'll need to bundle up. Temperatures will fall back down into the mid-20s by 10 p.m. And then tomorrow morning you're waking to temperatures once again in the teens. Probably not quite as cold as it is this morning. Instead of 15 degrees, we're probably looking at about 18, 19 for our overnight low tonight. And then throughout the day tomorrow with sunshine, we get back up to right around freezing. And then we will continue the warming trend in this forecast going forward throughout the remainder of the week. Today is our coldest high temperature that we have. Tomorrow, as we mentioned, right around freezing. By the time time we get to Wednesday, we're up to 39 degrees. By the time we get to Thursday, temperatures are back up into the 40s across the area. And as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, pretty clear sailing throughout the week. Once we get to Friday and Saturday, there's a storm we'll have to watch. Depending on the timing, you see the temperatures are in the 40s during the daytime hours. That would mean all rain, but there could be some snow mixed in during the overnight hours. Something to watch, but doesn't look like anything major at this point. And then Sunday, still a temperature of 44 degrees. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Pretty quiet on the roads right now. It is a holiday. This is a live look right now on the south side where we do have some snow you can see on the shoulders of the roads. That's just some flurries that accumulated overnight, but overall traffic is moving along just fine. No slick spots here to slow you down. So let's take a look over on the southwest side, I-465 and Man Road. Traffic's moving along up to speed both eastbound and westbound. We'll continue to keep you updated on any crashes or delays.
The question of whether employers can refuse to help pay for birth control is heading to the Supreme Court. Justices agreed Friday to hear 2 appeals challenging the so-called contraceptive mandate. The regulation requires employers to include contraception coverage in their health insurance plans free of cost. Churches are exempt from the mandate, but the Trump administration expanded that exemption to any employer with a religious or moral objection. Lower courts later blocked that expanded exemption. The Supreme Court will hear the case in April with a decision by late June.
3 U.S. airports are screening passengers for symptoms of a deadly new virus. The coronavirus has been linked to pneumonia outbreak in Asia. South Korea just confirmed its first case of this virus, which is similar to SARS, a respiratory virus that can be spread through the air. Meanwhile, Chinese officials have confirmed 139 new cases of pneumonia linked to this virus and say a third person has died from it. Passengers arriving from China at JFK in New York, SFO in San Francisco, and LAX in Los Angeles will all be screened. January is peak travel season from China to the United States because of the Chinese Lunar New Year.
We all know exercise is good for the body, but did you know contact sports could be good for the brain too? Researchers at Northwestern University compared the brainwaves of college athletes with students who didn't participate in sports. They found overall college athletes' brains were more responsive to sound than non-athlete brains. The athletes' brains also showed they were less affected by background activity, meaning they were more focused on their response to sound. Researchers say this shows that athletic activity improves brain functioning. They hope to use these findings to help students with learning disabilities improve performance.
The Oscars may be Hollywood's biggest night, but the most meaningful night for many actors may be the Screen Actors Guild Awards, where the only people voting are their peers. Coming up, we'll have a look at the night's big winners.
And coming up all new at 5, RTV6 is working for you and getting answers. Our Alyssa Donovan shows us how an RTV6 investigation helped residents at a Northeast Side apartment complex improve their living conditions. But first,
I'm Vinny Politan. Coming up today on Court TV, we are live in Fort Myers, Florida. Mark Sievers on trial for allegedly masterminding the murder of his own wife, hiring his best friend to do it. Prosecutors getting close to wrapping their case. It could happen today. Then it'll be up to the defense to decide will they or won't they present any evidence, and will he or won't he testify, the defendant Mark Sievers. We're live in Fort Myers today on Court TV.
Don't forget you can watch the all-new Court TV live on your mobile device by visiting CourtTV.com. We'll be right back.
On RTV6 News. Welcome back. A singer, a joker, a lawyer, and a stuntman. The actors portraying those roles on the big screen all walked away with SAG Awards last night. Renee Zellweger took home the award for Best Female Actor in a Leading Role. And not surprisingly, Joaquin Phoenix snagged the Best Male Actor award for his role in the movie Joker. Brad Pitt won in Supporting category for his work in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The actor joking it was something he was going to add to his Tinder profile. And history was made with the cast of the South Korean movie Parasite becoming the first cast of a foreign language film to win the Ensemble Prize. Up next for the awards season is the Oscars. Those will be held on February 9th right here on RTV6. We do want to bring in Todd Clausen, though, right now and talk about how it's going to feel when you step outside today.
You're not going to like it.
Yeah, you might feel frozen like a statue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we have a little bit of light snow on the ground, nothing falling from the sky right now, but look at these temperatures down to 10 in Zionsville, 12 in Muncie, 15 is the current temperature in Indianapolis. Highs today will climb up to about 29 in the city, 30 degrees in Bloomington, but everybody's within a degree or two of each other, but everybody remains below freezing with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Today, though, is the coldest high temperature for the entire week. We'll talk more about your extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. Time now is 4:57. Stay with us. We'll be right back.